Hello, survivors. The world of Zealand, Las Vegas is dark, brutal, and unforgiving as it is set during the zombie apocalypse that threatens to wipe out the human race. The content will be graphic and violent in nature, so be prepared. We return now to Zealand, Las Vegas to see how our group of survivors faces this dark new existence. Hello survivors, and welcome back to Zealand, Las Vegas. When we last left off, our survivors had left the proper area of Mount Charleston and they were headed to investigate the helicopter crash. They got split off from Jesse and Chloe when they were attacked trying to help the family into their vehicle. They turned up the road, headed back towards the compound, leaving Mitch in the lead vehicle, Matt following in Jesse's vehicle, and Colin following in the ambulance with a following of about 7 zombies. They quickly lost them, left them in the dust. They made their way to where they saw the smoke from the helicopter crash earlier, and as they came around the bend, still a little higher in elevation, they stopped short. About a quarter mile away, they saw up to 30 zombies. Some were grouped around the helicopter crash itself. Others were making their way across the parking lot and across the road from the lodge off to the right-hand side of the road. Tonight, I am joined by some new players. We have Dakota. We have Chris.
Hello.
We have our old players. We have Mitch.
Hello.
And Colin.
Hello.
And joining us virtually through the magic of the internet, we have Gabe.
Hello.
Via Skype. So don't hold your breath for the auto quality on that one. Didn't have a lot of notice between him saying my internet finally works. They unthawed the hamsters that were running the wheel up in Colorado. So we'll figure it out between now and the next session. But that is where we left it off. The group had kind of put together a plan of action at the end of the last session, but they are now stopped about a quarter mile short. Matt will not be joining us tonight. He's still with the group, but he was able to get out of work for the night. Unfortunately, he has hordes of screaming children to entertain, which to me is worse than zombies because I own 2 children and I don't own any zombies. So I can only imagine the hell that he's going through tonight. But that's where we pick it back up with Mitch again in the lead vehicle, Matt behind him. Gabe is in the car with Mitch. Matt's by himself. Colin's pulling up the rear in the ambulance. About a quarter mile shy and slightly up above this site that they see on the road by the crash site. So you all are right about here. Came around the bend and you saw the crash site. The helicopter is still smoking. Horde of zombies. This is the lodge. Some are making their way. You see some just kind of standing idly in the parking lot. The floor is yours.
All right, so I've got Gabe in the car with me. We've stopped, but seeing how many are over by the crash site, I just start the car. I didn't shut it off. I just slowly, not too fast, maybe 20 miles an hour, just start to weave my way through any tricklers, any small ones, and I'm just going to go on past.
So between you and the crash site, it's pretty much clear road.
Yeah. But I'm going to go in, like, once we start hitting where they are, then I'll just try and go around them.
Okay, so you're making your way here, and then Matt is just going to follow your example, Colin.
I mean,
because there's only a couple that are going across.
We haven't stopped to talk or anything, had we?
No, not really.
Man, I'm just following their lead.
So zooming in a little bit, the crash site is just off the edge of the road. So part of the semicircle actually comes into the road, where we're partially into the oncoming traffic lane, and that's the half semicircle of about 20 zombies. Mm-hmm. And you're looking at them. It's a lot easier for you and Gabe to see. They're all just kind of standing stock still. Like they're all like arms out, like they're ready to strike, but there's nothing to strike. And then you see like a branch fall, and then the whole group almost reflexively like turns, kind of like if you remember playing Metal Gear Solid when you make a noise and the guards like yeah, they make a noise and they all turn towards it. And then maybe another noise happens and they all snap back to that. And they're moving very rapidly. The ones coming across the parking lot you see are kind of just shuffling their way there. The ones at there are very quick.
Alright. So yeah, we'll just...
So you're about here. There's a set of buildings up to your right. You're not yet to the main parking lot.
I will, knowing my car can go off-road, but Jesse's definitely can't. I'm just going to keep going. And like I said, once we start hitting where the tricklers are, just sort of weaving around a little bit.
Or hit them.
And if I catch attention, then I'll haul ass and scoot and caboodle.
Okay. Matt is just going to follow suit. Colin, you're pulling up the rear. You did have a plan at the end of the last session.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that. Who was it I was supposed to be rescuing there or something? Or was nobody?
No, this is just the lodge. You see it off to the right-hand side.
Because we were thinking about trying to draw them away from the crash site.
That's what it was. And
but
if...
Between...
Okay, so out of character, I have an idea for that, but if we don't have any way to communicate,
I don't think
then,
it's worth it.
Yeah.
Well, we have, like, radios. I still don't think it's worth it.
I have plenty good idea to draw them away, and it's super easy. But unless everybody has... But we already said we didn't have radios on, so...
Right. You had to get a step, because you have the ambulance radio.
Yeah.
They have the radio that the army unit gave them, the church gave them.
Yeah.
So you had to get coordinated which band you're all on.
Yeah, so we don't even have... We're not even on the same frequency, so never mind.
Yeah, we'll just keep going.
And my idea would... Actually, no, I have an idea. How far away are we?
So Mitch is right about here, even with this building. Matt's slightly behind him. You're slightly behind him. You're following safe distance, creeping along about 15, 20 miles an hour.
I literally pull over to the right a little bit and stop.
Okay.
Vehicle stays on.
All right, so you see this happening?
I'll slow down and call him on the phone.
You try, but you have no signal. You do have a radio, and you and Matt know that you're on channel 5. That's your radio.
Then I will roll down the window. I'll hold up a radio, and then do that. So I hold up the radio.
Do I figure
hold out
out?
my hand.
Do I have enough common sense to know it's...
Yes, being that you used to literally train and be an EMT and work in ambulances.
Yeah.
Yes, so you fiddle around, and you know there's not a direct correlation between military channel 5 and C-band or civilian band CB radio channel 5, but you click around and you eventually find the right channel.
Okay.
What you doing?
So I think I have a way for us to clear out that crash site and potentially get the goodies from inside if they still function.
Do you think it's worth it? Do you think do you think anything survived that?
Equipment? Possibly. There's some pretty durable stuff they keep in there. And if nothing else, there's probably med pack, because you said it was
It was a troop transport.
It was a UH-60 from Nellis.
Okay, so would I know? So was it was it a CSAR bird?
It was. So you and I know it's from the test unit at Nellis. It's the UH-60 the pararescues use to test out.
Okay, perfect. So it probably has other medical supplies in it and possibly weaponry.
Like the rest of the party, Gabe, Mitch, and Matt saw it go down. Just to recap, there were 3 flying in formation shortly after the explosion that you saw from the mountaintop. You, depending on where you are, you may or may not have seen the helicopters. Gabe rolled Legolas, what do your elven eyes see, and basically saw these 3 helicopters going. And then one started to basically freak out in the air and went down. 2 bodies left the helicopter, and it crashed. You saw the plume of fire and smoke come up. That's what the rest of the group see. You wouldn't know that in character. You just see, but
given my background and I have my Vizreki skills.
Yeah,
so yeah.
Say doing what you do. Actually, give me a logic check plus 30.
So logic plus 30.
Yeah.
64. All right. 95.
Right. So there's a lot of zombies in the way, and you're the 3rd vehicle, but you know it's a big helicopter. It's large. It's a large crash site.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you had some time to talk. Maybe it's come up. they might not know the specific make and model, but they may have said military helicopter.
So, what are you doing?
So I kind of want to get the supplies and potentially the weaponry out of that, and I'm in an ambulance with several flare kits. And the zombies like bright things.
Okay. Does this need to wait till it gets darker?
No.
Alright. Give us a minute.
I would actually prefer to do it while it's light out because then we can still see. And the advantages are there might be some night vision goggles in that thing.
Give us a quick minute.
Okay.
So we've parked the cars. I'm going to hop out. And I want to suit up full fireman's gear for this thing.
Yep.
Especially if it's still on fire or smoldering at least. Like, we have how many sets?
3, I think.
3?
3 full and then a couple extra pants.
So, do we want... Gabe, do you want to be on Overwatch lookout, or do you want to throw on some firefighter gear and come with us? And we can throw Matt on Overwatch.
I would say lookout because I have better sight than what Matt does.
Okay. So, Matt's got the pistol because he gave the shotgun to Jesse.
No, the woman had a shotgun.
Oh!
Yeah, that was that was a woman's shotgun.
Well,
so Matt still
then
had
I will look to Matt and say, you might finally get to use that thing.
He's like, yes, the precious. He
do
pulls some rounds out of his Hello Kitty backpack and thumbs them in there.
It wasn't even loaded up into this
Jesus
point.
Christ.
Well,
that would be the can.
So run out of it, he's like, oh, fuck.
He's used it as a club every single time. So
Yeah.
there was probably rounds in it.
He's so used to the frying pan.
Yeah.
Okay, so...
So basically what my plan is, and I'm not going to enact this, I'm telling you this.
Yeah.
I'm going to stand behind the ambulance to set off one of the flares.
Mm-hmm.
Because the second that thing pops off, it's like a big bright flash of light that immediately comes back down to a flame.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's phosphorus.
Yeah.
And each one will burn for between, if they're standard flares, they'll burn for about 15 to 20 minutes.
We do... Don't we have, like, a flare gun?
I'd rather not use that because that's going to make more noise. So what I was thinking was I'm going to freaking light this puppy off behind the ambulance and then chuck it down this way. So like down the ravine.
Like over here?
Like,
Here's parked over here.
Okay.
yeah. So like I want to like, is this like lower elevation down here?
Okay. We have to look.
I have...
Through the power of the internet.
I see your proposal.
Because I want to set it off where they can't see it and then chuck it down the hill.
It's a little bit at lower elevation, but not
the point where I would want to go down there and set it off so that it gets further.
I see your proposal.
Mm-hmm.
I raise you something.
I'm listening.
Correct me if I'm wrong, because this is like a movie trope.
Uh-huh.
We have 4 full-size O2 tanks.
Uh-huh.
We've got firearms. Do those go up when they get shot? Is it the
They're
movie
not-
trope explosion?
So they're not combustible in the same sense. If anything, the pressure releasing would cause...
But one flare, if they lose sight of the fire, of the flare, before they get down there, they may just whatever.
Now,
But if there's a huge noise followed by maybe fire or anything like that, then they're going to run there. Then they'll probably follow the noise to its source.
At that point, I'd rather just like aim the back of the tank towards them, open the valve, and hold on. Right, but I ain't taking that chance.
Now, if you have flares and an O2 tank and a gun,
Yeah, but you have to open the valves. That's the problem.
you open it with a bullet.
Huh?
Open it with a bullet. So again, all right. So
All right.
pause. I know I've watched most of Rycon shows. We're like directly following in one of the footsteps right now. But you guys brought it up, not me. So plagiarism is one of the best forms of flattery.
And
we haven't watched those.
haven't watched any of our
You
own
guys-
videos, let alone somebody else's.
You guys aren't as far along in his series as I am. So again, you have the time because the noise
Right, they're
is very
distracted.
noisy. The crash site is cooling metal, so there's less of ticking and popping, and you can kind of hear it at the far end of your audible range.
Okay, so if that's the case, I don't want to set... I want to literally... And I'm going to need your help with this, but I want to drag that tank to here. Because I want those
You don't. That's
I
far.
I don't want. Okay, fine. Down here, like in that tree thing, and I can also rig some traps up, and maybe they'll die in the process.
We have nothing to trap with.
Yeah,
So-
I have ideas.
Okay, I've got a spool of like 30 feet of chain.
Yeah.
Thin chain. We can wrap that around the tank if need, and like slide it down or whatever.
Oh, that's a terrible idea. Because you set that off and you now have a fragmentary grenade with spikes.
I mean, it's 30 feet. We'll be fine.
No.
So
Have
we
you ever
either
seen Swordfish and the ball-bearing vests?
All right. Do we?
That was like the way you said that. It was like, we'll be fine.
Do we?
No.
Do we want to do the flare, or do we want to do? Because we got a bottle of whiskey. We could Molotov this if we wanted to. But
Not a bad idea.
do we want to do the flare, or do we want to do an O2 tank?
I'm trying to. Well, the other thing we could do. If anything, we'd want to approach from back here.
Yeah.
But if somebody wants to take a faster vehicle down this way with the flare out the window, lure all the zombies away, and then just drop the flare in the road, like a little ways up here,
I mean,
and wait for us.
would just dropping a tank do about the same thing if it hits right?
I'd rather save that until we need to use it. What do you guys want to do? I don't want to necessarily set off an explosion, like, if we're not, like, going to take out all of them with it, otherwise we've wasted a quite precious resource.
All right.
Because that's the kind of thing that if I get swarmed, I want to shoot it while I'm standing next to it.
All right. Matt in the ambulance. Gabe or Matt, one of you want to drive my car? We're going to offload all of the Jesse's supplies into one of the other vehicles. It's not the fastest, but it also is the least likely to overturn if I need to take a sharp turn.
And the ambulance is the exact opposite end of that spectrum.
As is my SUV.
Yep.
All right, so we'll offload everything out of Jesse's car into a mix of the ambulance and my car. Gabe or Matt will drive my car, and I'm grabbing one of the flares.
It doesn't take you long. Like, you guys, when you had packed things into your car and Jesse's car, had done it all in, like, duffel bags, backpacks, things that you had found, things that you had brought with you. So it's the course of a couple of minutes, and Jesse's car is stripped down.
All right.
What are you doing with the keys to Jesse's car?
I mean, I've...
Taking them with, leave them in the car.
Oh, I'm going to be driving Jesse's car.
Gotcha.
All right, you 4, 3 numbers. You 3, get ready. See if you can roll up that hill.
In the ambulance, or
I mean,
are we driving?
So
I missed some of that, that's why I'm trying
so
to
you
clarify.
There's like a side road, right?
Oh, this right
Yeah.
here?
It seems to
Yes.
loop back to the crash site.
Yeah.
I'm going to take the road,
Got it.
So
and you see how it reconnects too if
It
need
does.
be.
Okay, cool. Alright.
So I'm going to take the road. I'm going to get as close. I'm going to scoot up a bit.
So, like, can you move the map up that way a little bit? Like, up the road? Yeah, that works. So you want to, like, drop them off, like, here-ish?
Yeah, and then I'm going to try, and I'm just
Okay.
going to probably keep going
Okay.
to maybe that back,
Yeah, to where this meets up here.
or I might just hit that roundabout and
Okay.
see what's going on. But I'm going to creep a little bit ahead of them so that they can go up the hill. If I see bad things, then I'll let you know what happens.
You'll want to set that flare off and hold it out the window as you're driving past.
I will.
Okay.
All right. Break.
Good luck and Godspeed.
Alright, so
See you on the other side.
So
Up the
Gabe,
road.
do you want to drive Mitch's SUV, or do you want to be shotgun?
I think Matt has the better drives.
Matt traded his drive skill for shoot. His drive is a 30.
Excuse me. Alright.
Guess who gets to be the new driver when we pick you two up?
So it's more of a
I'm
coin
already
flip at this time. I mean, so
It's okay.
the way I've been doing, like, with driving, unless you're trying to do something crazy, you're just driving. Now, if it comes to having to do something, that's where the drive check comes in.
Yeah, and just driving like off road, the SUV can handle that. I've proven that enough.
Mm-hmm.
So do you want to drive or do you want to be shoddy? With an actual shotgun.
I'll drive.
Okay. So Matt racks one in. He's in... Is he in the ambulance or is he in the SUV? What did you decide?
He'll go in the SUV.
Okay, so Matt is in the SUV with Gabe. And...
He's gonna rip his arm off the first time he fires that thing.
I'm picturing
No,
this,
actually...
like,
So
shotgun just hits Gabe in the face.
no, Matt actually does, like, go shooting and stuff. Like, he has some knowledge in it.
Okay, good.
So...
I think he's gone skeet shooting a couple times.
I figured. I was just giving him shit.
Skeet.
He's not even here to hear it.
So they back the SUV up a little bit, and they angle it up the road. And Colin, do you follow them up the road?
Oh, yeah.
All right. So is there? What's the plan? Like once you start going forward, they're going to start going forward, and they're
They'll know the signal.
You like them.
all right.
All right.
So I'll have you go first as far as action time and stuff goes.
All right. So I'm in Jesse's low ass sedan, thing that scrapes if there's speed bumps. Hey, low to the ground. Maybe I'll just bounce them off me. And I'll start like going a bit faster.
Okay.
When I hit about across from the like, so a little bit further up, if the audience can see.
They will
A little bit further up.
I'll splice them out into the
Okay.
feed.
A little bit further up. Right there, as I'm holding, I just hit the horn and I go.
So immediately, and as you're driving up, you see to your right, because you're on high alert, you're looking.
Mm-hmm.
So without even having to roll anything, some of the shamblers coming from the lodge have started to shuffle your way.
Mm-hmm.
The ones at the crash site is still very loud, so you haven't gunned it yet.
I would like to say we've geared up in the full gear.
Oh, yeah, no,
I've
you're
closed the vest. I've got the helmet.
Yeah, the brain of the
And I set a 12-minute timer on my watch.
Okay. So you're gonna wait 12 minutes and then go.
No. Like that's the time I'm giving myself to search and GTFO.
Oh, the crash site.
Yes.
We'll get to that.
Okay.
Yep.
So you might be searching more than the crash site, more than one crash site. So yeah, you hit the horn, and just like when you saw the tree branch fall, and just like you remember from the horde outside your apartment complex,
Yeah, and I
20 sets
Got
of
it.
eyes, and they see you and they see motion, and you hear. Well, is your window cracked or no?
No.
Okay, so you don't hear anything, but you see 20 sets of mouths opening and sprinting towards you. So some of them are already in the road, and you've seen this before, like almost like a flock. There's no collective intelligence here. It's just there's a noise, there's a thing, go towards the thing.
Mm-hmm.
So as they sprint towards you, you pick up speed, and they're coming at you from kind of an angle. So it's not head on, but at this point, I'm going to have you do a drive check because right now your goal is to not clip a horde of zombies.
Okay.
So it's going to be a drive check. You got the drop on them because you gunned it before they were. Because you said you gunned it and hit the horn.
Yeah.
All right. So it'll be.
I mean, the flare's coming. This is the easiest way to get their attention.
All right. So it'll be just drive minus 10 because there are 20 different bodies that can go
All right.
20 different directions.
I will spend a sigil. So that puts my drive up to 55.
Okay.
Yeah! 8. Not great.
That is a scarce degree of success.
So maybe
It's still a success.
Maybe Jesse's car doesn't have a mirror or both anymore.
Did anybody see where I set my dice? I literally had them earlier.
No.
Did you lost the Americas?
Well, I moved stuff around so much to set everything up. Is there? You see the tube set somewhere?
You can put it over there.
Grr.
You want to borrow some of
I
mine?
do. Just let me borrow 1%.
This is why you can't hold on to dice. I buy you a new set for
I know.
Christmas.
Oh, no,
and
no,
you
here they
lose
are.
them.
I was gonna say, it should be right next to him.
So Mitch bought me some Merca dice. I want to show up real quick.
From a little shop in Las Vegas, Nevada called Power 9 Gaming.
Power 9 game, very nice.
Who we support.
Okay, just to show up a little bit. Some Merca dice. I rolled very well with these as a D&D character, which means I probably roll terribly with these as a GM.
Excellent.
It's good for that.
I'm so happy I rolled.
I was gonna say, did you curse those before you gave them to him? You put a hex on them? Only as a DM.
I sent them to Will Wheaton for him to fondle for a little bit. See, the thing is, if they don't fail, I'm probably fucked.
Funny enough, I have a book on voodoo.
Can I spend sigils to make you reroll?
That looks horrifying.
Alright, so as the group goes by you, two of them dive out.
Mm-hmm.
You clip one of them, and he kind of rolls off down the side. One of them literally dives onto the hood of your car and starts scrabbling up the hood, and is holding on, fingers underneath the well, like where the windshield wipers are, and there's the little radiator gaps.
That's fine.
And it just starts wailing on the windshield. Just wham, wham, punching the windshield and headbutting the windshield. And then it headbutts the windshield and starts to web out. And it's right in front of you. And it's hitting like on the windshield right in front of where you're at.
Since I've gunned it, how far out am I?
So you were about here when you gunned it. So right now you are about parallel with the crash site.
Cool.
So you are... So I'm trying to think of the video game where you can like slow time to make all the turns as a car. I think it's like one of the Need for Speeds.
Yeah,
so
right.
There's also another thing when adrenaline starts to rush, so you get kind of like almost like a time distortion. So right now, obviously, you might be experiencing a little bit of adrenaline. So out of the corner of your eye, you see this group, and they're all just laser focused on you. Like you can feel all of them locked on you, not necessarily the car, but you inside the car. And you see it's this disparate group. All walks of life. You know, some are wearing tattered clothes, some are in pajamas, some are half naked, some are wearing what looks to be like a police uniform. You see one military uniform, and they're all just bloody and just covered in gore. The one that you hit is actually kind of spun off like a stumpy when you're leaving the apartment complex, and it's barreled into a couple, and they've tripped over them. And you see all this in a snapshot as you're driving past the crash site. And the one in front of you, you see it's actually wearing like a pair of workman's overalls. You see like a name tag you can't make out, it's covered in gore, and you see ragged chunks of something hanging from its mouth, like something stuck in its teeth is dangling out. And you see it rearing back to go and smash its head into the windshield again.
Okay, since I'm still right there, I've got to just keep going.
Okay. So we'll switch back.
Believe me, the thought crossed my mind to like turn on the windshield wipers with like the little like sprayer.
So now the way this works from a narrative standpoint is kind of
I know it's a straight road. I'm not like, oh god.
I call it the Prince of Persia effect, because you kind of warp it back in time, because everything happens at the same time. Unlike D&D where one group and then next and next and next and next. Like if the group splits up, they do a thing, then we rewind time, so the next thing happens at the same time. So in the lead vehicle, you have Gabe driving, and you have Matt and shotgun. Colin, you're back in the ambulance behind him. You still have line of sight on Mitch. You've seen him creep forward, and you all hear "Brrr!" and gun it, and you see the same thing. You see 20 sets of eyes snap towards him. You see the sprint. One gets clipped down the side. You see another one lurch, and this is kind of like an inhuman like leap onto the hood, and you see, like you kind of see like fists rearing up over the headset or the hood of the car, the roof of the car, because you're at elevation a little bit. Like Mount Charleston is one giant slope up till you get to Mount Charleston, so you can see this all happening. So Gabe, you're in the lead vehicle. The plan was for you all to start making your way around the dirt road.
Have they all started chasing me?
Yeah. Oh yeah, they're definitely on you.
That was the point.
Yep.
So Gabe, you're in the lead vehicle. I know you can't see the map from where you're at, but there's basically a dirt road that goes all the way around. There's a kind of a break-off spur that can take you to the crash site, and then the road going further down loops you back to the road. That'll take you back to 95. You're in the lead vehicle with Matt.
So just Colin searching
So
the
Colin,
car and the car.
so Mitch drove off in Jesse's car. You're in Mitch's SUV with Matt and shotgun, and Colin is behind you in the ambulance.
So it'll be you on lookout and Matt and Colin searching.
So what I was thinking in that vein was to have everybody pull up to like here.
I'd say closer.
Where?
What?
Are they coming down the road or up the dirt road?
Up the dirt road.
Oh god. So basically right where your fist is, have one vehicle there. Yeah, that open fist. And I would park the ambulance just a little to the right of that.
Okay. So zoom in a bit.
The less you don't want to run that though. That's up and down a hill. Like if it's any heavy gear.
Yeah, oh, I see what you mean. Okay. Yep. All right. So
this is a footpath to lead. This is a church.
Yep.
This is a footpath, and looks like an easily climbable path. But the crash site itself.
Will the vehicle fit down here?
Yeah,
So
looks
like
like
here-ish, like through here.
Oh, definitely.
I can't see where you're going.
Follow that like little trail there.
Under those two golf course looking shapes.
Yeah. I don't know if there's it's probably not a...
Here.
Drag and drop.
No, I get you. Right here.
Yes.
And that's a footpath.
Yep. Will the ambulance fit there? I don't care if it's designed for it. I want to know if it'll fit.
Well, those look like trees, so I'm guessing, yeah.
Trying to get Google Maps to zoom in more. Yeah, I'd say so.
We might actually... Oh, I thought it was going to go into like street view.
So, GM level decision.
I would say this looks like maybe like a service path. And this is not that sharp of an incline when we looked at it from the street.
Cool. So I'm going to take the ambulance down there and basically come as close to the crash site as I can without...
Oh, look, there's me.
Yeah.
Oh, hey.
On the road. There you go.
Oh, yeah.
There's Mitch going, chit.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
It's not that much of an incline.
That's fine. So I'm gonna come down there in the ambulance and basically turn it around so I am like down.
Do you just want to hit the parking lot right there?
Okay, so I'll hit the parking lot here, and I'm gonna angle the vehicle so that I'm facing this way, just so that I can.
So facing back out.
Yeah.
This way?
Yeah. You know what? Going up. Yeah. So that I can get back in and go. And then let's go check out this crash site, and I'm gonna be knife and 9mm.
Yeah, so you and Matt, you pull up, and
I start my 12-minute timer.
So Mitch, has made it.
Oh, I'm also taking one of the flares with me just in case I need to create a couple. I'm gonna take 3.
So Mitch has pretty much gunned it.
Yeah.
And like your part in this is just to gun it to the roundabout and see. Now out of your rear view mirror, you would be able to see the group, and if they start to disperse, do you have a plan? Because you brought a flare.
So like I've laid off the horn.
Yeah.
If I see in the rear view that they start to like spread away, the plan is to wail on the horn again.
Okay.
But if it's back to me, I'd like to do something real quick.
Sure.
But if it's still them, do that.
And so, because remember, like time.
Yeah.
Like you sped away, and in that time,
like when we're ready to step forward in time.
Yeah. So, well, I'm saying, like when that all happened, like them driving around, they weren't like hauling ass to get around there.
Yeah.
They were taking their time down a dirt path.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that time for them.
We're not trying to make a ton of
Okay.
noise.
So now we're going. Now it's another like time
so
segment.
they're parked back here.
Okay, and I am.
You're probably a good, not half. You're probably right about here.
Okay, so
because you're not like balls to the wall. They're on foot. They're not.
Right.
They're sprinting, but they're not.
And it's Jesse's car. I can't.
And you're trying to not lose them. You're trying to get them to follow you. I just want to make sure I'm understanding your.
Yes.
intent.
So I'll lay off the horn, and you said he was like head back.
Yeah.
With my whole like adrenaline just fueling, I I thought about it. I want to pull out the K-bar and just put it right where that web, that like starting the break is.
Okay.
And I just want to put the tip to the very center of that web as I'm going.
Okay.
And just
hold it.
tighten up and hold.
Okay. So you pull that up. So he keeps headbutting and punching.
Yeah, it's
the punches are less of, they're not having as much of an effect.
Right,
But like,
and that's why it's like right where the head web in the very center. That's where I put the tip of the knife.
Okay. So you're doing that. So give me another drive check. We'll make this one flat because you're not trying to avoid anything. You're steering and focusing to make sure you don't veer off or anything crazy like that.
I don't know. I'm still tempted to spend the sigil. I will.
Okay.
So that puts me up to 65. Pass. 19.
Okay. Nice. So you were able to maintain.
Safe than sorry.
Yep. Oh no. That's,
Safe than dead.
and that's the thing with this game. Like,
Same thing.
just much like D&D, it doesn't matter how good your character is. It all comes down to like, as badass as my barbarian is, she sucks at jump checks.
She can't jump.
Good God.
She white.
3 points of contact at all times. She's just completely
And she
useless.
still falls over.
Totally useless on the battlefield. Hero landing and all. All right, so you maintain your speed. You were just creeping forward at first. You're probably clipping along at maybe like 30 miles an hour because you're not trying to lose them.
I'll keep it about that. Though.
Yeah, you're not trying to lose them, but you don't want them to like be able to jump on your car either.
My snail pace.
Yep. All right, so now back to Colin and Matt, who have now exited the vehicle, and Matt hands the pistol to Gabe. So Gabe, you now have a pistol with 13 rounds.
What?
Because you're on Overwatch.
He said woot.
Oh, I said what?
That's what I thought he said.
No, he said woot.
So you're on Overwatch.
I speak game.
So zoom in a little bit. You're parked here. Just to reiterate, parked here.
That's not a far walk then.
With everything,
especially since some of that shrubbery is probably gone.
Yeah, and I'm doing I'm doing a light jog. Like I'm not trying to like be stealthy, but I'm not trying to like.
That's young.
So Colin and Gabe both give me perception, just flat. Actually, you have the height advantage a little bit, so give me perception plus 10.
Do you want me to just roll for Matt?
Sure. So everybody plus 10.
Matt failed.
Oh, I failed. I rolled a 98, and you said perception plus 10. I have a 52, and I rolled a 98.
Okay.
Matt rolled an 86.
Okay. Gabe?
Would I be able to use my advanced?
Yes. It's a visual perception.
Plus 10?
Yes.
66. I rolled a 1.
But you still passed. That's the thing.
That ASMR dice roll.
Yeah,
like sound.
It's still a pass. It's not a great one. But your eyeballs don't explode or anything. So
They can do that.
When you use the gun as like shade.
It's not a nat 1 in D&D.
So when you were parked looking at it, you knew there were shamblers coming across the parking lot. You see that some of them had followed their infected brethren down the road. But looking back towards the parking lot, you do still see there's 4 of them. And looking at the map, I know you can't see it, Gabe.
Easy.
But you can see, with elevation, you can see at the lower tier, there's about 4 shamblers. At the mid tier, there's another 2. And actually coming across the grass, there's 1 sole shambler. The rest have started making their way down the road, following the noise and the screams, which you all hear. So as long as you don't make a ton of noise, you're not likely to divert those ones that have gone down the road.
What?
So at most, you have 3 zombies to deal with in the short term, possibly another 4 if they're able to make it up the embank quickly.
That's a big embankment too.
It is.
It's
Exactly.
a steep ass embankment.
Okay, good.
They've got like some steep wooden stairs to go up and down it.
It's like a 6-foot drop between one and the next.
Cool. All right.
Taller than that. It's like 8 to 10.
This one is. This one's like the 6-foot drop. This one's the taller drop.
Like we're okay.
Okay, cool.
So you have one immediate, not even an immediate threat. But you have one slowly making its way towards your area right now. Gabe, you see this. Colin and Matt, Colin and Matt, Matt's not here. You're more focused on the crash site. And you kind of see the backsides of a bunch of zombies running away, which is a good sight to see.
Okay. Alright, so I'm going to approach the helicopter. I'm going to try and keep my head on a swivel, but I'm obviously not looking behind me.
Him and Matt are in the firefighter gear.
Yep.
Yeah.
Full gear.
But I am going to, once we get over there, I'm going to tell Matt to kind of like do a 360, because if I'm going to be digging through the helicopter looking for specific stuff,
Okay.
I want somebody to watch my back.
So Matt, he has a shotgun.
Huh? I meant somebody who's like right there.
Okay.
So Matt has the shotgun out, and he nods, and he's just kind of he's standing behind you, and he's just turning. And
on that note, I'm going to tell him if he sees something that he needs to shoot, I need him to elbow me first.
he's oh right, I'm not going to shoot it unless I have to.
I still want you to elbow me before you do.
Because that'll draw more of them in. But I'll keep an eye. I'll let you know. So you approach the crash site, and you can still feel the heat. It's not unbearable, but it's been a while. It's crashed probably. It was the prior day in game terms.
Okay.
Reason number, it's been about 2 days.
About a day and a half since it's crashed, but it's still that residual hot metal.
Reason 2 why you're in firefighters.
I was gonna say I've got the gloves attached to inside the coat where they go. So
yep, you approach, and you see now that you're closer, you can tell it was UH-60. Like on close inspection, you see portions of the tail still intact.
Yeah. So I'm specifically going to I want to make sure that I'm going to do a visual inspection, make sure there's no sparks, no literal loose sparking wires anywhere.
You don't see anything like this.
Okay. I'm gonna tell Matt where I want him to post, like right near me.
Right.
Have him give me like some kind of verbal cue if he's gonna be out of like range. And I'm gonna start looking on the inside for any weaponry, any gear, and medical supplies is a third thing. I'm specifically looking for weapons or NVGs.
Okay. So because you're essentially digging through the wreckage and you're trying to do it quickly.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be first an investigate. We'll do an investigate at -20.
Oh,
hard difficulty.
I'm burning a sigil, so plus 10. Wait, no, plus 5. Plus 5, so that gets me to 48.
Okay.
And I rolled a 7.
All right. So that is a scare success. So now, you were looking for, you said, weapons, gear, and medical supplies.
Yes. So do you need 3 investigates?
No.
Okay.
It's just 1. So now roll me another percentile dice. 1 through 33 is going to be... What do you want the most out of this? Weaponry, gear, and this is generic gear, or medical supplies? No.
Generic, not the NVGs.
Well, I'm asking.
I think that the number one thing I would want out of it are NVGs.
Okay, so...
Weaponry is a close second.
So... This is to determine the category of the loot. The luck roll will determine whether you
Got it. Okay.
So the thing you want the most is going to be 1 through 33.
So NVGs, NVGs are like body armor, like things that you would see. Yeah, gear.
1 through 33 is gear. Weaponry is going to be 34 through 66. First aid is going to be 67 through
99.
100.
Okay. That is maybe 8.
All right, so you're going to find medical supplies of some sort. So now you're going to roll a luck.
I rolled a 34 and I have a 50. So
okay, so 34. That is an okay level of success. So in there you find I know the IFAC is the individual one, but I don't know what the acronym is for like the
WEFAC.
Yeah,
the group one.
WEFAC.
WEFAC. Let's go with it. The WEFAC.
So basically,
IFAC is the individual. It's WEFAC.
It's kind of like the one the medic would carry, but it's not the full like duffel bag. It's the in between, like what a corpsman would have.
Yeah.
USFAC.
USFAC. So it's got, and you would know from like we do like self-aid buddy care.
Yeah.
It would have like your combat action tourniquet. It would have some quick clot, like I told you guys about.
Yeah.
That type of stuff. So you find one of those, and you find 2 IFACs.
Okay.
And that's about it, because it's pretty messed up. It's
potentially a stupid question. Are the 2 pilots up front?
You don't see any bodies.
All right.
Next time you have to do anything at work like that, and they mention like not the IFAC,
The
WEFAC, and they're like, the what? Right, sorry, not USFAC.
Alright, so give me some. Gabe, go ahead. Give me perception. Matt, go and roll for Matt for perception. Colin, give me, if you want to give me perception, it'll be a negative 10 because you're digging through.
Why not?
Not fast. 15.
32, and I rolled a 34.
Okay.
Close.
But no potato.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I can get a potato.
Gabe?
I landed on exactly what I needed to.
So you get a
Free
free
point.
perception skill point at the end of the session. So, he, like I said earlier, he landed exactly on what he needed. He gets a free perception, which is like his, third time doing that?
Yeah, I think
Literally.
only Jesse has gotten that.
Yeah.
And all the other times it's all been him.
So Matt elbows you, Colin, and he points, and you see on the map, you're over here at the crash site. Come on, Google Maps. Respond. You're over here at the crash site, digging around, and there's a shambler making its way. It's right about here. It's maybe 20 feet from you, slowly making its way towards you. You don't hear anything. Because on closer inspection, you see it doesn't have a lower jaw. There's just a tongue kind of hanging loosely from the bottom. You see a lot of trauma to the chest.
Shambling through the undergrowth.
Well, you hear that, but I'm saying you don't hear anything from the zombie.
Okay.
But it is a slight embankment, so it is. You see, it is trying to struggling to make it up to you.
Okay.
Gabe, with your score, was your actually like really good success.
None zombies.
From behind the church,
Nunsies.
you see two shambling zombies coming from around the corner, making their way to the vehicle. So basically have behind everybody else. You have two coming up from behind, so flanking essentially.
There's Reests.
And one coming up from the road. And you see that the four at the very bottom are still struggling to get up. Two or three here? Two here have kind of scrabbling along the wall, and they're starting to slowly make their way to the road. So right now you have 3 shuffling zombies in your immediate threat range. 2 of them, Gabe, are about, let's see, use the ruler. The feet. They're about 100 feet from you. And then the one is about 30 feet from Colin and Matt.
And we noticed these?
Yeah. Matt elbows you and points it out. Gabe notices everything.
Okay.
He sees that the one without the jaw needs a cavity filled.
Gabe's like
Time
Cartman from the first episode of South Park. He just bends over and the fucking satellite dish comes out of his ass.
He sees everything. But these are the slow ones, because all the screamers are pissed off down the road.
Time to fucking go.
And that's the noise Gabe's ass satellite makes, apparently.
Say that again, Gabe?
I didn't say anything. That was.
Okay, background noise on his end.
Okay.
It's
So what
the
is
aliens in his
So you have what you can get from the helicopter with a quick inspection.
Yep, time to fucking go.
All right. So you and Matt, you tap him on the shoulder and you head back to the vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So with the slow shuffler changes his course and starts making its way, kind of hooking around, following you back towards the vehicles. Gabe, you see them heading back your way. The shuffler continues every day shuffling.
Every day I'm shuffling.
Kind of just making its way towards you. Not necessarily. Not an immediate threat, but they are making their way towards you, and they are coming at an angle towards you and towards your vehicles at a kind of a 45-degree angle from the church. There are some other buildings in the way, and your plan was to kind of come up this way, so you could just lose them. So now we're back to Mitch. All right. So let me.
Nice.
All right. So it headbutts the window again, and it pierces like right on where the blade is, but it doesn't go in far because it pokes, but has now made a hole in the windshield.
All right.
I mean, it stabs it, but you feel it stop against the skull. But it's against the skull.
All right. Is it just staying there?
Well, I'm saying like that. We're not doing a combat initiative right now because it's just kind of like narrative combat.
Right.
But like it just reared back and headbutted, and you feel it kind of stick on the blade of your knife. Now it is essentially your turn in the combat, the non-combat combat initiative.
right. How far back are my backstreet boys?
Looking in the rearview mirror, I mean, you got 15, 20 feet between you and them. They're keeping pace because you're intending them to keep pace.
All right.
And from quick glance, you look like you still have the whole group because you didn't floor it.
Mhm.
There's giving chase, and it looks like of the ones that are runners, you still see. It looks like you still have the majority of the group.
Okay.
And at this point, you are, because you were right about here, so you're now a little bit past this building.
Okay.
Probably
So I am going to do an interesting little driving maneuver where I'm going to take my foot off the gas, so we just slowly start to slow down.
Okay.
And if my boy up front is able to get better footing, I guess, like he looks like he's starting to get like a bit more stable, then that's when I just punch it.
Okay. So you start to coast.
So my goal is for him to like kind of get prepped and then suddenly have to like suddenly come forward.
Okay.
And hopefully go face first into the blade.
Like
All right.
keeping this here is just letting off the gas a little bit for maybe 10 seconds and then flooring.
All right. So you start to slow down, and a few things happen all at once. You start to coast, and it's not like a dramatic.
Yeah, I'm not suddenly going 10 miles
I mean,
an hour.
you see the speedometer drifting like 29, 28, 27. In the rear view, you start to see them like slowly getting closer. Because they're zombies, they don't have a point where they need to stop before they hurt themselves. They relentlessly push themselves
They'll keep running until their legs fall off.
until tendons tear
Yeah.
and muscles break down. So there's no stopping them until they physically lose their leg muscles. They start to close the gap. With the lessening of momentum, you can see the one on the hood. It was kind of like holding on, had like elbows up, the legs were splayed out from the dive. It gets like one knee up on the hood, so the one's kind of still dangling, and you see the other one. It gets its knee up. Now it's got all fours. It's elbows and knees on the hood.
That's when you punch it.
All right. So it's up there, and inertia. So it's more going to go. It wouldn't be the head to where your blade was. It'd be more the chest because it's going to go forward and unspool. So, but the chest is going to hit.
Like the knife's still poised where it was hitting, so its chest should slam in.
So when you do that, are you going to just hold the knife still, or are you going to actually thrust out?
I'll thrust too.
All right, so give me two checks. So give me a drive, and so here's what we'll do. Give me a drive, flat drive. Anything you pass by, I'll add to your fight as a bonus.
All right, so I passed by 16.
Okay, so now give me a fight. Whatever you pass by. So sorry, it's fight plus 16 already.
I hope I land right on it. 64, which passes because with the plus 16 it goes up to 69.
Nice. All right, so you do.
And then it's the big knife, but it's still plus 10, right?
Yes.
So
74. Okay. So 74 damage to the torso. Because I'm not going to do the reverse in its hit location. Like I already declared.
torso.
Yes, torso. So 74 damage to the torso.
So that's grievous.
It's a grievous wound to the torso of the screamer zombie that's on your hood. And it's now kind of impaled. But now it's blocking the majority of your windshield with its body.
Mm-hmm.
Pull the knife back and sprint.
So I've gunned it.
Yeah, you were gunned it. You were about here. So now as the end of your turn comes up, you know, and you can see in the distance that you're coming up not in too long from now, the roundabout.
So now that so they were about 30 feet behind me. They're probably a good like 50 or 60 now that I've like punched it for a good bit.
They closed the gap to about 10 feet. The closest one, when you let off the gas, the closest one, because you started to decelerate while they were still maintaining the same speed. So the closest one, fingertips outstretched, was about 10 feet from behind your head. And then when you gunned it, your car is going to lurch forward because Jesse does have a sporty Euro car.
Yeah.
and you probably would, in the first few seconds, would have regained that 30-foot distance, and it's going to stretch because now you're punching. You're not trying to. Oh, I don't know if you're trying to keep them behind you or if you're just trying to lose them before you get to the roundabout. What's your intent? So that I can narrate it properly.
I want to gain distance.
Okay.
So I will gun it to about the roundabout, which that middle section is just dirt.
Yeah, you
like,
can go.
It's not. It's not like a huge
straight. You're not to it yet. I'd say
right.
At the end of your turn, you're probably about at this road right.
So like right before I hit the roundabout, I'm going to slam on the brake. Like I will pop e-brake if need.
Okay. So now
I
we're
want to
going
just stop and pull back as you.
So now we're going to go back to Gabe, Matt, and Colin. You are now back in your vehicles with 3 shuffler zombies closing in on your location.
And I am going to pull the vehicle up, basically pull right in front of Gabe and go so that he knows he's following.
So you're heading up, and we said you're going to follow.
What's great is that because it's super quiet up the mountains, you probably hear like the car stop accelerating, and then suddenly the.
And when you were outside, you all had the headgear on. Gabe, I don't think you didn't have.
He doesn't have any of it.
Gabe didn't have the fireman's gear on. He could hear the car and he could hear the screams because it's 20 people screaming at the top of their lungs. You had declared you're basically going to go this way up the trail. It is bumpy going. Are you trying to go fast or trying to go cautious?
They're shamblers.
It's like cautious.
Okay. So going cautiously,
We're only 10 to 15
you're good.
minutes.
If you're just going to crawl along this trail, there's no necessarily drive checks at this point.
Yeah.
Unless
It's not like
I want to make it interesting.
It's not like I can't make them anyway.
So you all make it up onto the trail and you start to head this way. So obviously you're moving a lot slower than Mitch is. He's going to get to the roundabout a hell of a lot sooner than you are.
Yep.
But you do start making your way up there. And what's the plan? Are you just going to continue along?
Well, I don't see the flare, so I'm going to keep going. But I'm trying to stay vigilant to keep an eye out for that flare because I want to know where the flare ended up. Mainly because that's where I believe the horde is going to stop.
Okay. So you all would come to about here. Okay. He was doing the drive slow, stabby stab, gun it type thing while you all were exiting and making your way along the road. I mean,
well, the minimum we were going to go to this intersection, but
that one.
Yeah, based on where because I'm assuming that you are going to be dropping the flare somewhere around here, but if I don't, I'm going to think that something's wrong or that you had to I'm going to think you had to improvise. And I'm going to be keeping an eye out for where I'm going to be scanning ahead to see where the flare is.
Right. Go ahead and give me perception. You have, it's a good elevation. You have elevation on the road, so give me perception plus 20.
62, and I rolled a 27.
Right. So you can see Mitch. You can see a group of zombies. You start to see a couple of trailers, not trailers, but like ones that are kind of broken off.
The slower ones, or they're just stopped.
Yeah.
Okay.
You see some that are legit, like just laying on the ground, kind of dragging a leg, but like, I mean, it's like a Grudge where they're like doing a creepy, like fast draggy thing. Trying to just tear ass down the road with fingertips and fingernails.
All right.
Can you do me a quick favor?
Yes.
Can we throw street view onto right where your hand is right now?
Right here?
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
It's like the one spot that doesn't.
We can try. Did the Google car just like forget to record now?
Can you turn the other way? Other way.
No.
Look the other way.
There's no snow in the mountains in June.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't know that.
Breaking the fourth wall.
Okay, that's all. It looks like a dip, and I can see that it's not.
Not much of one. They are elevated on this trail. It's not crazy, but it is a bit. I know in Google Earth you can do amazing things, like you can see elevation, do all these charts, but I'm like fledgling when it comes to using this thing. So,
All right.
I shall teach you the ways of the force.
so you were about here when you make that perception check, Colin and Gabe, which you can't see the map. So in the world of imagination, you're on a dirt road up yonder, Mount Charleston, overlooking Mitch driving and being chased by a horde of zombies.
Okay. So, if it's back to me,
Yeah. So you're
once I hit the roundabout,
okay.
I'm slamming on the brakes.
All right. So you.
Like I will like pop e-brake and just slam on brake
All right. So to
and try and hold it
maintain control of the vehicle. So you were going about 30 when you trumped it, and you had trumped it around here.
steady.
I love the ruler tool that's left. You had about 800.
Keeps you honest.
Yeah, you had about 800 feet of acceleration if you were literally just staying like balls to the wall the entire time. So I'd say you're probably rocketing like 70 miles an hour by that point.
Cool.
So if your goal is to stop on a dime right when you hit this, and just
Hopefully the dirt slows me down.
and just to prove to people watching, like it literally is nothing but just
It's dirt
Dirt.
and shrubs.
yeah, it's nothing crazy.
Oh, dear.
There's a slight
That's a
incline,
hill.
not like Dukes of Hazzard style. It's nothing crazy. There's a small concrete barrier, which could be bad. There's a bit of a hill. Yeah, so we're gonna need a drive check. So you're going about 70 miles an hour, and you're trying to stop and hit the e-brakes. It's gonna be a drive check. And we'll go ahead and do a negative 20 because it's challenging.
You
It
can
also
do
sounds
it.
like it would hurt just to stop that fast.
I've got seatbelt on.
I mean, does your brain
Nope.
have a seatbelt?
What'd you get?
70?
Nope. It's worse than that. Let me look at my sheet here.
Burn a sigil, reroll that shit.
Pathetic failure.
No, it's terrible.
That's a 0. That's plus 10.
Oh. Oh, yeah,
Let's
no.
go ahead and do 1 and hopefully just less of a
Make
failure.
a better failure. Yeah.
I'm not aiming to succeed this one.
It'd be amazing if you did.
36. Much less of a failure.
You still failed? Okay.
Yeah, it's awful.
Alright.
But not pathetic.
God.
Which I always put pathetic, as a lesser grade of failure than awful, but apparently.
So you're coming up.
So I'm sorry, if it's 36, and it'd be versus what my drive is.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, then it's only a poor failure technically. Because it'd be 16 is what I'd failed by.
No. Remember, it's not failed by.
Okay.
It's just
Well, then never
failed.
Never mind then.
We were doing that in the very
Yeah,
beginning.
it's like a plus symbol, so
We were doing that at the very beginning, but it's just you failed, and when you fail by this, that's the degree of failure.
especially since the degree of failure is a plus symbol and the degrees of success is not. So that's why I would have thought of it as like, if you succeed, and that's what your success is, not by what you succeeded by. If you get what I mean. Like, when we roll and we succeed, since there's no plus on our little cheat sheets here, I figure if it's like, we rolled a 41 to 50 and we succeeded, we did a good success, not we did it above 50, so it's a...
Oh, you're right. You know what? You are correct. Degrees of failure, you failed by that much. So how much did you fail by?
16.
Okay, so that's a poor failure.
Yeah. So but you see what I mean with like the plus
Yeah.
and like the not plus?
Yeah.
The negative.
When it's just a success.
No, it's
you
just nothing.
You just succeed.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Right. But we've been doing it. We succeeded by this much up until this point, and I don't know if that is right. Come help us. I don't know if
I'll
that
hit
is
him
the
up on
thing.
Facebook. Alright, so you failed by 16. That's a poor failure. So as you're
I'm not trying to like save my ass here.
No, it makes sense because it means plus, and I don't know when you would ever fail by 100, but it makes sense. And we can look it up in between episodes. We'll look it up. We're coming to the end. So you're rocketing towards this roundabout, and you know it's coming up. You've been up to Mount Charleston and back a bunch of times, and you can see it like through. He's wiggling around on the knife, and it's still lodged in his chest.
Mhm.
You know you're coming up.
When I slam on the brake, I will.
Yeah.
I have to yank it out to pull the e-brake.
Yeah.
So.
So you, in kind of one fluid motion, you yank the blade, chuck it, grab the e-brake, pull it, 2 hands on the wheel. mash the brakes.
And I'll probably just try and like strong arm the wheel to hold still. Hold still.
So a few things happen.
Mm-hmm.
Like an object in motion tends to stay in motion.
Mm-hmm.
So you were going 70 miles an hour. He was going 70 miles an hour. You are held within the vehicle by a seatbelt. He is not.
Excellent. That was the goal. I think that was the goal.
Yep.
So the zombie continues to travel at approximately 70 miles an hour.
Excellent.
Now freed from the constraints of the vehicle. And he ends up, you basically hit the e-brake right about here. And he ends up flying, hits the ground right about here, rolls, bounces up, hits the concrete barrier, flips up over, hits the hill, and kind of keeps rolling.
Cool.
You see all this as the anti-lock brake system kicks in. And the car starts to slalom to the side.
Then am I able to slalom into this turn up ahead and push the e-brake back down? Or no, I still failed, so you tell me.
You failed. So
that's a no. I'm sorry.
I'm trying to figure out whether to do the rule of cool and like let you Tokyo drift this shit or not. So
if I just need to stop, I'll just stop.
no,
I will try to like steer to not slam into the hill, but if I like end up spinning or whatever, like whatever happens, I failed.
So if you would have failed by a lot, you'd be like
Over the hill.
like Ricky Bobby, I'm going fast. Like Tom Cruise put the flames out with your witchcraft. So all right, with this,
I've spun in my car before, not my SUV.
Yeah.
In my old. Did you ever get to see my yellow sports car?
No.
No.
I met you with the SUV. All right, so here's what happens. 16, you start to skid, and you start to force the wheel to the left, turn it into the skid.
At least the screeching should reattract any lost zombies.
So you start to skid towards the left, and the car starts to follow this pathway to the left.
Mm-hmm.
And you release. Do you release the e-brake or no?
Yeah, I'll pop it back down.
You release it. You try to pop it. You try and you punch it, but the right wheel. Or you kind of follow this up, and the right wheel. You hear a crunch, and you feel it hit that lip, and you hear it like pop. Da, 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 da. But you bring it back on the road. You're still driving, but you hear the da 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 da, and you're able to make it around the corner and continue straight. But you got the front right wheel is now losing tire pressure.
Okay.
And you drive past the zombie, who now you see is just like a mangled wreck on the ground, still alive, but just like you see it like pawing with like the one arm that's not all mangled at a wrong angle, biting at you. In the rear view, they're back their ways, but they seem to have a renewed vigor with this noise.
So I will just. Where am I right now?
You have made it around the roundabout, and you started to make it this way.
Okay. Can we zoom out a tiny bit? All right. So I will stop there. Like I will pull it fully into stop.
Okay, like right about here?
Yeah.
Okay.
I will get out of the car. Now I pop the flare, and I want to grab my knife and toss the flare into the car. And then
Jesse's gonna hate this episode. She's like, motherfucker, you burned my car to the ground.
there is a shack right there that I can see.
Right here?
I don't care if it's like a dumpster.
Well, let's see what-
It looks kind of like a farmhouse.
Whatever.
Oh, no, it looks like a
Not that
bathroom.
bad. It looks
That's
like
like a
toilet.
little utility thing.
I am-
There's gonna be more utility stuff.
I'm stopping the car. I grab my knife, toss the flare into the car. Once it's, I mean, my first thought was pop the hood and throw it in the hood, but I'll throw it into the car and then I rush.
You have a split second. Is there anything else you want to grab from the vehicle?
We took everything.
Okay.
And the radio.
You're lucky I'm a nice person.
Yeah.
Alright, so you book it. Give me an athletics check.
I'm not good. Oh, actually, I'm not.
That's it.
You say that now.
It's not -20.
So it's not
And then
it's
there's
not like
me
a
who's a runner.
it's not a massive
with a
downhill.
30.
And there's
It's
just,
not even a hill.
no, there's large boulders that you don't have to like necessarily worry about. It's just flat athletics to see how fast you make it there.
I rolled a 1.
So you make it there.
I
You don't trip and die on the way there.
trip a little bit, but I don't fall.
It's the fireman suit.
Yeah, I'm running in fireman's gear.
True. So you make it to this shack, and
I want to get to the other side and just press up against it.
so you hide up there. Back to Colin and Matt and Gabe.
Who up on a hill get to see this spectacle.
Yes. So,
I imagine when I do hit the curb and you can probably hear the tire, I'm sure there's a resounding ooh.
so before
Might
you
just
hit the
lost
brakes,
it.
you all were about here on the map.
So do I?
You're making your way down. You're about here because again, this is a pretty decent road. It's like a service road.
Yeah.
It's not what
We're not
well
booking
kept.
it.
No.
No.
But you're clipping along, not as fast as he was going.
Well, yeah. I'm also driving a vehicle that is designed to handle this type of terrain.
Exactly. And Gabe's driving an SUV, but you're keeping an eye on the situation down there, and you see exactly what Mitch described. You see him.
I see the spark.
You see this. Well, you see him hit the curb.
Okay.
You hear me hit the curb.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure I hear it in this environment.
You see it. You see the zombie go flying. You see the crowd start to refocus in and bear down on that. You see the flare pop. I mean, it's visible for miles around, even in broad daylight. It's white hot phosphorus. You see him chuck it into the car and book it over towards a small structure that you see off to the left. And that is where we're going to end tonight's episode.
Oh, can I do something right before we do? Because as I see that, I'm also going to pop a flare and just chuck it out the window so that there's a secondary source of distraction that is now behind me and Gabe.
Okay, so you chuck a flare up behind you. And that's where we're going to end tonight's episode.
Cool.
We almost met Dakota and Chris.
Almost.
Sorry,
Maybe.
Sorry, guys.
I guess. I
so
guess.
sad.
But that's okay. So
No. We do multiple sessions in a night.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
We're not done.
right.
Oh, yeah.
No, sorry.
We'll
We
be
have
playing-
4 more hours, my friend.
Yeah, we'll be playing for a few more hours.
Okay.
And it's good because you kind of got to see a little bit of everything, how we do the rolls, the pluses, the minuses.
Yep.
That's why I do my best to try to explain things as we go along. I've straight up paused recording to look things up. I'm not thoroughly versed in every little nuance about Zealand. We're getting there, and we do a good job of correcting each other. So in the next episode, we will
Hopefully.
see. True. Depends on if they survive or not. You guys might just be starting your own group. In the next episode, we will see how the group deals with the current threat, what the fate of Mitch is. We'll see what happens to Jesse's car.
Die.
And we'll see if Dakota and Chris become part of their group. Well, actually, before we wrap up, Dakota and Chris, give me a perception check.
Okay.
That's not how that works.
Plus 20. Perception plus 20.
Okay.
Because you've been on the lookout from your current location.
53.
I pass.
So you're going to say pass and what you scored.
Oh, whoops,
I,
sorry, that's a cheat sheet. That's, okay.
Pass would be a 60 and I rolled a 42.
So you rolled a 42. And
Okay.
if you look at the cheat sheet,
So that's a
degrees
good
of
success.
Good success. And
You
you,
rolled
Chris?
I rolled a 33. My normal perception is there. It is 35. So 55.
Plus 20, so
So you just
33 is
Pass 33.
Yeah.
So you both passed. Now, from your vantage point, you see a road. I didn't give too many details away, but you do see what you've been hiding from for the past like 6 or 7 hours. It's not as active as it was. It's no longer beating at the door. You managed to push furniture against that. You pulled the curtains tight. You put up, you moved some furniture like a china cabinet in front of the windows. You moved up to the second floor where you kind of have overwatch of the situation. And you see milling about down below you. You see 3 of what you've seen has been the slower ones, the ones that don't chase you and scream and seem to have these superhuman strength. But you do see the one that caused you to stop the vehicle, the one that caused you to run inside and seek shelter, still pacing and prowling. He's sniffing the air. And that is where we're going to leave tonight's episode. So as always, I'm RP Sarge. We are joined tonight by Dakota, Mitch, Chris, Colin, Skype, and Gabe. Go ahead. Make sure you stab that like button in the head. Get the word out there.
Oh my
share it
God.
out. Help the channel grow. Until the next time we meet, stay alive.